Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dave Go Gamer. Today we got this PlayStation 5 game console that is not turning on, but when you press the power button on the PS5, it makes a beep noise, but it does nothing. No lights or nothing. It's just a constant beep every time you press it, and it just makes a single beep. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this repaired in this video. So let's go over to the repair bench and see exactly what we got going on today. All right, so as you guys can see, we have the fat model PS5. And this is what we have. Now, as I stated, when you press the power button, it does nothing. It just makes a single beep. In the same way with the eject. Just a single beep, no lights, no nothing, and nothing obviously comes up on the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this down to the motherboard and see exactly what's going on. Typically, it's usually some sort of short on the motherboard. It could be a short on any of the rails. Also be something with SSD, Bluetooth module, HDMI IC. Just all depends. So let's return once we get this down to the motherboard, and we'll get this fixed. All right, so we are now down to the motherboard. What I'm gonna do, so I'm just gonna run some tests on a couple of the rails over here. Test it for shorts around 5-volt rail. This right here is common for, zoom into. All right, so this area right here is common for working with the SSD. And this right here is supposed to be, there's supposed to be continuity between ground and on this side over here. So that's not a problem, but everything is normal so far. So I'm just gonna keep on going around and see what I can find. All right, so we are looking at the F7002 fuse right here. And when I put probes on both sides, I'm not getting continuity, which tells me this fuse is blown. But also, there is a short coming from over here as well. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to get this fuse removed, and then we're going to put this under the microscope, get this fuse removed, figure out where the short is coming from, fix the short, and replace that fuse. So let's get that done. Okay, so we are underneath the microscope. I have my fume extraction going. I am going to put my heat one. I'm just going to max it out at 500. And we are just going to pop some MTEP flux on that fuse, get it lifted. If you guys are interested in using anything that I use in my videos, like the flux, etc., everything is down below in the description. But let's work on getting this lifted off the board. All right, so we got that lifted off the board. And what I'm going to do is obviously confirm that the shorts are still there. And yep, short is still present. And it's only present on this side right over here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to inject some voltage. I'm going to inject 1 volt into this line. But first, let me put some leaded solder. I'm going to put some leaded solder on this cap. I'm going to put a small bit of desolder braid. I'm going to connect my power supply to it and run 1 volt to it to see where we could be able to find that short at. So let's get that done. So we have our thermal camera. I have my bench power supply over here set for 1 volt, 1 amp. Black probe is connected. We have the desolder braid right here. And what I am going to do is inject this voltage, and we're going to see exactly where the short is coming from. So let me bring up the thermal camera. So what I'm seeing light up is this IC right here on the other side of the board, right on the other side of the board. And that's what we're going to have to look at to see what's going on. So let's check it out. Guys, so I believe we possibly found the culprit. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of IPA on the board. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inject 2.9 volts. So just right below 3 volts. Focus in this microscope. Okay. Hopefully that gives you a good view. So I dropped some IPA down in there so we can see exactly what the culprit is. Now I'm going to inject voltage in 3, 2, 1. Now you see that? Did you see that? Look at this cap right here. 3, 2, 1. I mean, that's almost instant. Right there. You can see what it does. So now let's go on ahead and remove that cap really quick because this is obviously problematic. So I'm going to use my heat wand, 500, 4.5 airspeed, turn on my fume extraction, and we're going to quickly get this lifted off the board and see if that resolves our issue. So let's get that done. All right, so I removed that cap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inject voltage and see if I get any amps. And I'm not getting any amps. And the short is now gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another cap from my donor board, and we're going to replace that. So let's get that done. First, let's go ahead and get some fresh solder placed down on the motherboard. Now already we have the other cap removed from the other donor board, PS5. So let's get this cap placed on there. All right, that cap has been installed. Now we still have to turn this thing back over and install the fuse on the other side. So let's remove that desolder braid, get that fuse installed, and go from there. So let's get that flux popped on there. And now let's get some new fresh solder place where the fuse is going to go. Now I'm going to remove the fuse from the donor board and bring it over to the customer's board. So let's get this fuse soldered on our board. All right, fuse is good to go. I'm going to turn off my fume extraction. We're going to clean it up. So I'm going to take my toothbrush, dip it in some 99% IPA. And let's clean this area up. All right, so I'm going to take my multimeter, make sure the new fuse is good, which it is. We are getting continuity. And the short is gone. I'm getting no short anymore. So let's hook up the board to our bench power supply. And what we're going to do is we're going to inject 12 volts in there. Make sure that we can get a normal boot sequence. And if we can receive a normal boot sequence, then after that, we're going to get it put back together and make sure everything is good. All right. Here's our motherboard. As you guys can see, we have 12 volts. I'm going to eject. Goes up to 300 milliamps. Back down to, it's holding between 7 to 8 milliamps. Let's double check that again. And about 300 milliamps. Back down to 8 milliamps. That seems normal enough. Let's put this thing back in a chassis. I'm going to first clean up this liquid metal. Make sure this liquid metal is good. And then we're going to put this thing back in a chassis and ensure that there are no other shorts or any other issues on this motherboard. So let's get that done. All right, so we have it partially put back together. Press the power button. We have blue light. The fan is spinning. Let's look at our monitor. And yes, there it is. We have video signal. The PS5 is still on. Still running normally. Let's make sure I can make it to the dashboard now. Everything is working just fine now. We have power. Controller is connecting. And we are on a dashboard. And looks like he has the new Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Nice. And everything is working just fine on this one. All right, guys. So that's it for today's video. If this video did help you guys out, please make sure you're going ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more PS5 repairs like this. I get a ton of PS5s in. And you guys just got to let me know what you want to see. What you want to see me upload. So let me know down below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this. But besides that, I hope to see you guys on the flip side. See ya.